Hello, this is yours truly, Charles Prosper, your consistency success coach. And in this installment, I want to talk about how you relate to money and how you control money, which will determine your experience of money in your life. Now, most people believe that money is paper or coins or either the number of dollar bills that are represented in your account. I would say to you that money is none of those things. Money is something that is almost spiritual. It's not physical. For how could it be physical? Because money can be anything that people unanimously agree upon. In ancient times, it was salt, cattle, and now because cattle is a little more difficult to carry around in your pocket, we have created money as paper. But it's still a representation of something else. Money, when you have it in any physical form, is only a representation of something else. I submit to you that money is a reflection of how you relate to it. Money in your life is a reflection of what you believe about it, how you interact with it, how you relate with it, how you care about it, or how you don't care about it by spending impulsively. It's something that I can't prove, and proof is something that's relative as well because all proof is based upon you believing something without doubt. However, I digress. I believe that money is spiritual. I'm going to even go as far as to say that money has a consciousness, that money is a living, breathing consciousness. And the consciousness that money has is your consciousness. Whatever it is that you believe about money, money believes about you. What I am saying, in other words, that you are money and that money is you. And that money represents who you are with how you relate to it. Now, I know this is all beginning to sound far out there, but stay with me a bit. Because your money consciousness, how you feel about money, will determine how much money will be in your life. That is, if you feel uncomfortable about money, your relationship to money will be one of scarcity. The choices and decisions that you make will be based around you're not losing rather than you're trying to creatively increase the money in your life. I have talked about how your self-belief and your self-image influences and determines how you feel about money. And in other videos, I have given examples of how you believe and how you think about money determines what your experience of money will be. For example, I remember the time when I first came to Los Angeles to live and find my first apartment. I had recently arrived, I was about 25 years old, from Louisiana after I had graduated from the University of New Orleans in psychology. And so I decided to make my move to California and get my first apartment. So in getting this first apartment, I went to a neighborhood that was not all of that ritzy because I didn't have a lot of money to invest in an apartment at this time. So I go into this apartment, into this so-so neighborhood, and the manager leads me into the bedroom to show me the available apartment, which he had. Suddenly we both listen and hear the sounds of breathing. And I look at him and I say, "What's that?" We hear breathing again. He looks back at me, "I don't know." Then we look on the floor lying in a fetal position, crouched into himself, was a young man sleeping on the floor. And I look at the manager and I say, "What's this?" He says, "I don't know." And then he kicks the guy. "Hey, you, what are you doing here? What are you doing here?" And the young man wakes up, about 22, 23, frightened. He said, "Oh, please, please don't call the police on me. Please don't call the police on me. How did you get in here?" The manager says, "I climbed in through that open window." "Get up, get out of here." "Oh, thank you. Okay, I sure will. Thank you for not calling the police." And so the manager turns back to me and says, "Well, would you like to see another appointment?" I said, "No, thank you. I don't think I'm going to live here." Now, I give this example as I have given it in other videos, which is a classic example of what self-image is and how it determines how you relate to money and how you push prosperity away voluntarily. The reason I bring out this particular example is this young man who climbed in through the window looking for a place to sleep decided to sleep on the floor all night in a bed by himself where no one was around to tell him not to. A comfortable, well-made, clean bed he could have slept in all night, but he chose not to because his self-image told him, even though he was alone, even though no one would have told him anything, he didn't feel he deserved to lie in a clean, neat, comfortable bed. So he decided on his own to lie on the floor. His self-image did not allow him to embrace or accept or enjoy anything beyond the limit of how he saw himself to be, someone who only deserved to lie on the floor. So if your self-concept of money is that it's not enough, it's something that's necessary, but it's not really something that's good, you will have what I call a money rejection complex, which will tend to have you make decisions that push money away from you. Another example that I have given before is that of my friend Lisa, who worked with me as a social worker in Los Angeles, California during the time I was there. And this is a very high paid job in Los Angeles. And one time I was talking with Lisa and I said, "Lisa, you know what I like to do? I always like to keep a $100 bill folded and placed inside of my wallet just to give myself the feeling of prosperity, even though I have no intention of spending it." And then she replies to me, $100? Huh? If I had $100 in my purse, I'd spend it. Now, what did that tell me? That told me that her concept was that money is something that you impulsively must get rid of. Money is not something that you can have and keep or save. It is something that makes her feel uncomfortable to keep. So she has to get rid of it, spend it impulsively, almost as though it were some type of disease that she were trying to get rid of. This too is a money rejection complex. And even though Lisa made a very high salary, just like I did, she was always broke. And after explaining this example to you, there is no secret why. Now, let me go into something that's very practical about money, about having more, keeping more, enjoying more, and controlling more in your life. This is a practical side. This is the practical side of what I'm talking about today. When people make money in a salary, and it doesn't matter how much money you make, what will determine your prosperity is how you manage and control the money that comes in to you. If you make a very high salary and if you have no system of control, management, and discipline with money, it will be like a leak in a bucket that the moment you pour it in, it leaks out. There are a lot of people who make very high incomes, but who are always struggling and in debt because of the way they see money. They see money impulsively, not as something to be honored, controlled, and used wisely. Now, let me give you some practical suggestions about controlling money. Most people, when they get an income, when they get paid, the paradigm of most people, I'd say about 80 to 90%, is that you spend first, be it bills or whatever else that you have, and whatever is left, if there's anything left, you maybe will be able to save it. This is the paradigm of poor people. The paradigm of prosperous minded people is like this: you pay yourself first, then you pay the other debts, bills, and things that you need to pay. Now, when I say that you pay yourself first, I mean that this is the first debt that you have to pay, and this debt is to yourself. I am telling you to begin right now to start to save 10% of whatever it is that you earn and place this in a savings account which you do not touch from 6 months to a year. You don't touch it. There are a couple of reasons why that you should do this 10% savings, that you save first before, by paying yourself first before you do anything else with your money, is that one, this increased savings month by month by month gives you a money attraction makeup. What I am trying to say is that people need to feel comfortable with larger and larger amounts of money, comfortable in the sense that they don't feel so uneasy to spend it all out because it's there. You have to get used to having money, being comfortable with seeing money accumulate without having the impulse to get rid of it. You have to sit with money long enough to become comfortable with it. And I'm saying this is because many people are not comfortable having money, even though they would swear up and down that they want more. The proof of the fact is that the moment that they get more, they immediately need to spend it. You see this in lottery winners. The person who has always had a money scarcity mentality, who suddenly wins millions of dollars in the lottery, goes into what I call a money shock. This person doesn't know what to do. They're like, oh, all of this money, what am I going to do? So this discomfort creates a money shock in them where they literally need to reduce this money back to the level where they can feel comfortable. So what do? They go out and buy expensive, unnecessary luxuries. They lend money to people who come to them out of the woodwork, family, friends, relatives who they didn't even know they had. They take expensive trips. They buy very expensive houses that will need expensive upkeep as well. And so it has been proven that usually after 2 or 3 years of a person winning the lottery, they are broke again. And this is because they had never gotten used to sitting with this much money and feeling comfortable with this much money without having the need to get rid of it. Now, I want to go back to the whole idea of budgeting and controlling your money. In the beginning, I told you that you need to start out with the habit of making a budget, and the first expense on your list in the column of expenses is the expense of you paying yourself first. You give yourself in a savings 10% of whatever it is that comes in. And you don't touch this money, you just watch it accumulate month after month after month for 6 to 12 months. Now, this will become a money magnet because it gets you used to having more amounts of money so that attracting money and getting money and having money becomes more natural to you. After the 10% prosperity savings that I'm telling you that I want you to do, there are going to be two more savings. And this is going to blow a lot of you away because you're going to swear up and down that you can't do it. There is another 10% savings. The other 10% saving goes to another account, which we will call an investment account, that you will use to invest in something that will increase your net worth, or something that will increase the money in your life while you are asleep. And this is something that, too, you will save over 6 months to a year. But this second savings, this investment savings, you will carefully, during that time you are saving this money, investigate viable options in which you can invest this money to increase it and increase the income that comes in to your money cash flow. The rest of the money now can be allocated and budgeted for the other expenses that you know are recurring in your life, and saving a portion of this for enjoyment and entertainment. Now, what I do is I create a budget, not using any fancy program or anything that's out of this world. I'm very basic when it comes to doing things because I like to do things in an uncomplicated way. I'll take a notebook, open it up, and I'll put the month and the year, and on the left column I'll write resources, and then I'll write down the source of my income and the amount that I get every month. In my case, I have 3 sources of income because I'm retired, and so I write down my 3 pension amounts. On the right side, I write the column expenses, and then I write down one by one the expenses that I have each month. My first expense is my 10% reserve savings that I don't touch for up to a year. My second 10% that I place is in an investment savings, which I don't touch for 6 to 12 months while I'm studying a particular investment or investment opportunities that would be viable for me to invest this money in. The rest of the money I allocate to the various bills that I have. And finally, after paying the bills, if I do this carefully, I will have an amount which I can designate for enjoyment, entertainment, and so on. But this is a very controlled system, and budgeting is a way that will allow you to see where your money is going, how you relate to it, how you invest it, and how you spend it. And I not only do a budget each month, I literally do a budget where I project for the next 12 months. In January, I'll start the budget for January, and I'll do a prospective budget of the same expenses and deductions and my savings projected over the entire year for February, for March, April, May, all the way to the end of the year. Now, is this worth it? I'll say it is, because it keeps me in control of my life, my expenses, the flow, and I am never scrambling around wondering how I'm going to handle this and how I'm going to handle that. This is a habit that I strongly advise that you adopt immediately. It will change the way you handle money and the way money flows into your life. You see, when you have money in your hands, that money in your hands is willing and able to work for you however you choose to have it work for you. I say to ask yourself intelligent questions before you spend your money. The poor-minded people will have money in their hands and they see something that they want and they'll say, well, I'm going to spend it because I deserve it. I work hard for my money and I'm going to enjoy myself with this. And they do this without any perspective of budget and how this will impact the rest of their debt or their expenses or the things that they need to pay. The prosperity-minded person in the same situation will see something that they probably could enjoy and they'll ask themselves a different question, or they will talk to themselves in a different way. They will not say to themselves, well, I deserve this and so I'm going to get it. They ask themselves, do I really need this? Can it wait until tomorrow? Will it serve me? Or am I doing this just to feel the pleasure of buying it? So when you ask intelligent questions before you spend, you have a different relationship with money, and money is held on to and flows into your life in a different way. Now, I want to talk about one last thing when it comes to money, and that is, who is your partner? Who is the person in your life that you live with? Your spouse, your live-in girlfriend, or your live-in boyfriend, or whomever it is who is sharing your life with you. You have to make sure that they share your same values with money. You cannot become a person who controls money, is disciplined with money, saves money, and invests in money, and have a partner who has total disregard for money, spends impulsively, and asking you for unnecessary luxuries that he or she can wait for. So this is a very critical situation that you need to consider, the person with whom you choose to spend the rest of your life. If you are not married to this person, give your thanks to God, because you still have options to keep this person or not keep this person in your life. This person needs to be an asset and not a liability to your goals. However, if you marry a person who is a wanton spender and disregard for the money that you make, then I don't have any good news for you, because this person, if you're married to this person, will eventually become your downfall. So you are going to have to make some hard and fast decisions in terms of the relationship that you have with your husband or with your wife, which will affect the relationship that you have with the prosperity and the money that comes into your life as well. I would just say that if you're not married, you have options. Once you're married, your options are reduced. And think well before you commit yourself to a person who is not money wise, a person who is money foolish. Because no matter how wonderful that person is in all of the other aspects of your relationship, the relationship eventually will fall when it comes to the money aspect. Trust me on that. So, in summary, I say to you, first of all, you must have a money attraction mentality where you're comfortable with money. You have to feel that you deserve to have money, that you're comfortable with money, that you can be around larger and larger sums of money without having the need to spend it all up. You need to understand the absolute necessity of budgeting your money and adopting the principle of paying yourself 10% first in a reserve savings account, which you keep for up to a year, and another 10% in a savings investment account, which you watch accumulate from 6 months to a year, and then decide on investing that money in something that will increase it. So there you have it. What is it that you feel about money? Are you comfortable with it? Can you relate to it in a way to allow it to grow? Or do you become uncomfortable with money and feel the need to impulsively get rid of it and spend it up as soon as it hits your hands? Okay, I've given you a lot to ruminate on, and I hope that you can consider many of these things that I have said here today. So, this is yours truly, Charles Prosper, your consistency success coach. And I would like to thank you for liking, subscribing, and sharing this video with the people who you feel can appreciate it. So until the next time, stay consistent and be successful.